Hello everyone, this is Many Ninja speaking. This is a bit of a unique Ninja House's toy corner, as we're not looking at a full figure proper just yet, but actually this was ordered from Taiwan, from, I'm probably mispronouncing the name by the way, Xuan Studios. And what we're looking at today is a special Second Armor X model kit that is based off the original Bandai D-Arts figure line. When I was buying this, there were two versions available at the time, one being a fully unassembled unpainted version, which is the one I picked up here, and the second one was, I believe, still unassembled in this case, but it was a painted version. I might be wrong about it, it might have already been pre-assembled, but I forget, since I don't think that version of the auction is live right now. So as we're looking in the box here, we have a little guide showing how the joints get set up in his case and how everything gets generally assembled. Speaking of which, the joints here are the same kind you're going to find in a lot of different hobby shops and stuff you can order online. You got your 3, 5, and 10 millimeter kind of ball joint and ratchet joint sense. I think it's a ratchet joint there. What I found interesting in this case is what I'm looking at here on video is a set of earth magnets that are put in there. I don't recall seeing that in the description, which was a bit interesting. But I'm guessing if the application here is what I think it is, it's probably for magnets for the feet to help it stick on the walls or something like that. And once I find it on the camera here, here's an idea of what the eye decals look like, which are pretty much in scale here and actually going to prove useful for my next little video that I'm going to have in mind here that I'm working on the back burner. Looking at the actual smaller part pick there, here we have the actual casted pieces themselves. They're all going to be in kind of a matte white finish in this case, as I have the unpainted version here. And they're broken up over a few bags to help keep everything organized, which is, by the way, very much appreciated. The first bag I'm opening here seems to have a lot of little hand bits, certain arm bits, and the faces themselves. What I'm bringing off camera in this case is actually a legitimate Bandai version of the X head in this case, and as you can see, in terms of the face itself, it is roughly the same scale, if not an exact match. Curiously though, it's the tabbing system which does have a bit of a difference here. While I haven't cut on any of the flash or excess plastic on any of these things, by the way, this is coming straight out of the packet, you can see it is physically shorter on the back there, and it's missing the top part. As I'm trying to put the real face into the helmet bit there, as you can see, it is too long by a few millimeters. There is a bit different, so it would stick out, and thus it wouldn't be a proper fit if I were to try to close the whole helmet around it. But you can see it was still designed with the same general thing in mind. As I'm just showing kind of a general test fit, once again, it's not a perfect flush fit because I haven't trimmed any of the excess plastic, but as you can see, it was really built with a few less millimeters in that back tab in mind here. But what I did find interesting, especially as I was unpacking for this video there, is once I pull the helmet back apart here, the front part actually has a little opening or kind of gap there for the cylindrical tag, or like the little loop section that will be found on the real X heads in this case. So when you put it in, it's a perfect fit. It's an absolute flush fit, and this is leading me to think that the original casting or 3D models probably had in mind to have that same little hoop thing to help lock things into place. But on the actual casted heads that are with this particular model kit, those are missing. And if I had to wager guess why, it's probably because the extra casting difficulties that would have been added with that little top bit probably made it a little too complex to print out properly, or just made it a general pain in the butt to cast repeatedly. So I think Xuan Studios probably trimmed that part out just for ease of recreation. Stepping back to what's in the bag, generally speaking, you have a neutral expression for X, one that's like a growling, like a grimace face, and then a yelling face, which once again, minus the missing upper tab and the shorter back tabs, are virtually identical to what you expect off the real X. In fact, they're basically one for one, minus the tabbing system. It's a little hard to tell because of the matte plastic and my lighting, I apologize here. But generally speaking, they are about the same there. They have a nice, good, clean fit, although in order to get things to really stay in place, you do really need to tab the back part in first. Which, speaking of which, I didn't mention it when I originally showed that, but the back helmet bit that seems to include both the back part of the helmet as well as the tabbing system that is part of the normal Bandai. They seem to have merged in this case into one piece, probably just for ease of printing in this case. One less piece to worry about printing. I can understand, so it does make sense here. And let's see, moving on to the next bag. This is more kind of the larger armor bits. So in this case, we have some looks at stuff like the torsos. Give me a second just to kind of organize myself back over here. Yeah, there we go. Oddly enough, I find the torso here as well as the hip piece all seem to be casted in one bit, or as one part each, which is a bit interesting in this case because if you look at the original figure, those were definitely something where they were casted as two pieces originally just because they needed to hold the extra joining bits. Once again, I'm theorizing the reason this was done is because this makes it easier to print out and or cast later down the line. Looking here, we have an arm bit, I think that's an arm bit anyway, as well as the shoulder pieces. And what I found interesting in this case, I actually am bringing over a legitimate X figure. Here's the real Bandai one, and I'm trying to slip it on there to see how well it fits. Scale wise, it's a pretty good match. However, because these were built to accommodate the third party joints and not the real one, it's unfortunately so loose that it's not going to fit. It'll hold in place, or if you're standing it straight and you don't do anything, it'll look nice, but unfortunately the minute you try to pose it, it's going to fall right off, which is unfortunate. And also, as a general aside, I noticed this after the fact. The little grill part on the front of that is missing in this case, because that's actually a separate casted piece that is added later. Probably these things, certain little bits that are separate here, were casted separately just because that makes it easier to paint later on, which I can understand, although it'll make it interesting to attach those later. Moving onward, we have, in this case, I believe I'm looking at the arm bits in this case, or were those leg bits? I'm not sure. Probably the leg bits. These little kind of boomerang shaped things are actually parts of the boots in this case, which are casted as separate pieces. Once again, I figure that's to make it easier in order to paint. And speaking of the boot pieces, those come in their own little bag as well. The actual feet component are casted in two separate bits in this case. The top part here is nice, well molded, everything in there. The bottom part, it's its own little piece, which was actually nice to accommodate and have the two gapped holes there that are for kind of the gem or the booster systems that are there. When it's the upgraded version, they have two of them in there instead of one, so that's a nice attention to detail. Even if you're not necessarily looking at the bottom foot, it's nice and appreciated that it's taken care of here. So that is, once everything is trimmed there, it will be a good flush fit. Here's an idea of what the leg bits look like themselves. As you can see, the big missing gaps are for the painted parts that will be inserted later. Here's a look at the torso. It's just one casted bit. That's the same for the most part as the real one. The buster here is actually several bits that get attached here. Once again, I figure it probably makes it easier not only just to tab thing, but also to paint them separately. Once again, makes perfect sense to me. And here's two of the general arm bits that are used to hold the hands. What I'm showing here in this case, as you can see, there's a notable extra part that's cut out, and that's to accommodate the third-party bits. Or the last bag I have here are the translucent pieces that were casted, which in this case means it includes all the little, like the helmet, shoulder, or ear gems in this case. The bottom boot gems are also in there, and the little bonus thing that was included in this case as a kind of a mail-in exclusive, although this is all mail-in, which kind of makes it a weird statement, is a special translucent Shoryuken piece, because in X2 you could find that as one of the hidden Dr. Light capsules inside the fortress stages. So while you have to paint these in a more translucent paint in order to get the effect to work proper, it's a nice inclusion there, and it's a really nice touch in general. Alright, in terms of the unboxing video, that pretty much covers everything that came in there. We're going to be doing a general assembly video of sorts later down the line, as well as a little other video I'm kind of working on the side here is some extra kind of special decal work in order to place some of the stuff that have issues with the bootlegs that I happen to have on hand. But that's going to be a video for another day. For now, thanks for watching, and catch you all later.